Our next guest is a Tony-nominated actress and comedian you know from Saturday Night Live and movies such as Sisters and Wine Country. Her podcast, Woo Woo with Rachel Dratch, is available now. She also stars in the animated series Grimmsburg, which returns Sunday, February 18th at 9:30 on Fox. Let's take a look.
Don't worry, boy, son. We're gonna duct tape this broken family back together faster than you can say hereditary schizophrenia. Which you also don't need to worry about unless you're still seeing your imaginary skeleton friend. The one who made you pull the fire alarm?
Nope. Therapy's working great. Bye.
He bought it, Stanley. Now all we gotta do is make sure he never talks to your therapist. Just like us.
Mr. Flesh, now we can finally start our plan to get my parents back together.
Please welcome back to the show our very good friend, Rachel Dratch. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so
Great
happy
be
to
here.
see you. I got to see you a
too.
little bit before the new year.
Yes, oh yes.
Saw you at a party, not
fancy party.
real fancy party.
Very showbiz.
A
yes.
lot of A-listers.
A lot of A-listers and then us. Yes.
Yeah, we were there too.
Yeah.
They kept saying, can we show you to the B-list?
That's true. Yes.
Can we
Yes.
find you a table in B-list?
Yes.
But you also, I heard, do you think it's in preparation to maybe coming back to 30 Rock where you worked that you had an anxiety dream?
Okay, so I knew when I knew I was coming back to see you, and then that night I had a dream that you and I were getting married.
Okay.
And like it was just very awkward because we hadn't talked about it at all. And like I was like, are we gonna text each other about this? Or like and then we were supposed to get married that night and I was feeling awkward about it. Not that you would make a fantastic husband. But there was all sorts of things. I was like, wait, we didn't invite Lorne. I had the Lorne factored in as he always does in an SNL anxiety dream. And then I was like, I didn't bring my shoes. It was like every trope you could imagine. So.
I like the crazier world is if Lauren had an anxiety dream about you and I getting married and him not getting invited.
I would love that. I would love if Lauren had an anxiety dream about me. That would be amazing.
If Lauren woke up and just turned over, he's like, I had the worst night. I had a dream Rachel was mad at me.
I would love it, please.
You have a new podcast.
Yes.
Woo Woo.
Okay, yeah, Woo Woo with Rachel Dratch.
Yeah.
Now, that's me, sorry. Well, I didn't have to say the name, but anyways, but Woo Woo is, okay, so over the years, I have collected, I love when you're gathered with friends and then it turns to kind of like ghost stories and weird, psychic stuff. And so then I was like, why not do a podcast where I talk to funny friends about their weird stories?
Because more funny friends than you would think have stories about real...
Everyone has a weird ghost, except you.
No.
Because I did text Seth to ask him if he had it, and he said no. But you know what? That's okay, because I still, Amy Poehler came on. She doesn't really believe stuff, but then we found out, oh, she's actually kind of into crystals, and so everyone has some sort of bent to. Now, don't quote me that Amy Poehler's into crystals, though, because
why would we quote you when that's exactly what you said?
What I mean is she's not super into crystals, but she could veer into the crystals.
Yeah, that's probably not going to make the article.
Okay. Amy's way into crystals. Okay.
By the way, you left out the worst detail, which is you texted me, I have a new podcast about ghosts. Do you have a story? Would you want to come on? And I wrote back, I don't have a story, but I'd love to come on.
Right.
And then I had to, you didn't write me back.
Okay, that's true.
And so a week later, I was like, now I have a story about how my friend Rachel ghosted me.
Oh, yes! Yes, but that was when I was just getting organized. I'm coming back to you, and we can talk about whatever. You can even talk about your disbelief in it.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about my disbelief.
I would love to have you on.
Do you have one yourself?
Yes, so I have a ghost story of my own. This is embarrassing because no one wants to be the person that sees ghosts, but I did have only one ghost story, so I think that gives it more credibility.
Yeah.
And it was many years ago.
No, that's true. If someone's like, I got tons, you're like,
then
all
you're
right.
And it happened at a hotel, which a lot of ghost stories happen at hotels.
Because they can't afford homes.
You're gonna be great on the show, kid. But this is what's interesting. My story happened to me years ago, I guess now almost 15 years ago or something like that. But then years later, I ran into someone who knew the concierge at this hotel.
Okay.
And I asked her, is it haunted? She said, yes. She told me people see things, and people saw the same thing that I saw.
Really?
Yes.
What did your ghost look like?
Well, here's where I sound crazier. But I saw two guys, and they were like from another time. They were dressed like they were like early 50s. And in my mind, they were a couple on the down low. So I call them my gay ghosts.
Okay.
But that wasn't me trying to be funny and cute, whatever. That's just the vibe I got. Like they were two guys, and they were a couple. So I called.
Okay. And did
So I
they?
saw
Do you
gay
feel
ghosts.
like you just observed them? You did not feel like they observed you?
I don't know. Maybe they were. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. But they were friendly though. They weren't scary.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. And were you excited
fan
to
base.
hear like verification?
Yes, I was. Yeah. But that was way before. Then I had the idea to do this, and then that story is in there at length. But then I have other friends. Like one friend has an astral projection story. Now I'm fully nuts. But astral projection story, time travel.
You have a friend who
ghosts.
time traveled?
There's a crazy time travel story in there. Yes.
Do you want to say who the friend was?
Well, you don't know her, but if you listen, then you'll hear. No, I mean, she's not.
Do I know her in the
Actually, yeah,
past?
She was in a past life. You do. No, she was a Chicago improviser person.
Oh,
but-
that's
Yeah, so I have like some celebrities, some regular folks I knew back in the day. Yes, and that's Woo Woo.
That's Woo Woo, the podcast. Have you had other than your pair of ghosts? Oh, by the way, congratulations. A lot of people, you only had the one sighting, but you got two ghosts in the same night, which
I
is
did.
pretty
I
big.
got two.
I feel bad if you have one sighting.
I had a
that's one.
BOGO situation.
Have other things happened in your life that you feel like are supernatural?
Well, yes, I had a no, okay, yes, I had a psychic tell me that I was gonna have a kid.
Okay.
But I was 43 when she told me that. Wasn't even dating anyone, blah, blah, blah. Cut to, I have a kid.
Yeah. So the psychic was right.
Psychic was right.
When the psychic told you, did you think the psychic was
I
crazy?
was like, come on, you say that to every single lady walking in here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Was
But
there
yeah.
anything else they said that day that when Eli was born, you're like, oh, what else did she say? Because it's all going to come
Ooh,
true.
I can't think of that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
That's all right.
Yeah. Cut that little.
No, we don't do any cuts.
Okay. Okay.
Our editor doesn't. Our editor is not back till January 15th.
Okay, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark that down as a slight low. Slight low. Okay.
Yeah, definitely mark it as slight low.
Mark
but
it
don't
as a
cut
slight
it.
low.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I like that you have a podcast about ghosts, and every time I've asked you a follow-up, you're like, I don't know.
Well, I know. I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
Hey, oh my God, I've scared you.
What? Ghosts! Ghosts! What?
You, since I last saw you, you were nominated for a Tony Award.
Oh,
Congratulations.
yes, I was nominated. Yes. Yes. Now, that was for a show from last summer, but
Yeah.
let's still keep it going.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Tony nominated.
I
Tony
can just,
nominated
say
forever.
that wherever I walk in. Like,
Yeah, you can-
Yes.
and you-
I'm
I've
here
been
for
a few
my dry cleaning, and it's Tony nominated. Rachel Dratch. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't find it, maybe look under Tony
There
nominated
you go.
Rachel Dratch.
Yes.
And you also, we showed a clip from Grimsburg.
Yes.
You play, John Hamm is
John Hamm is my
Grimsburg.
dad, and I'm his son.
And do you-
Yes.
do you
All
enjoy
my
it?
best work playing male characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Young
it's
male
fun.
characters, yeah.
Young male characters.
Yeah.
And Abe Scheinwald, the
Abe
old
Scheinwald.
agent.
That's the thing, you play the
right.
poles very well.
I've got a lot of range, that's what you need for the Tony. Okay, yes, Grimsburg, and I play this kid that's kind of like really hoping, his, kind of degenerate dad is back in town, and I'm just hoping for any attention and that they get back together, and he's kind of a sad yet funny character.
Speaking of kids, we mentioned backstage, we're saying me and my kids, we walk to school, and
Yes.
we bump into you every now and
Yes, I bumped into Seth with his kids in the morning when I'm walking my dog.
And
Yes.
it's very exciting because you did a podcast which came out a few years ago called The Cinnamon Bear, and I highly recommend it. It's this wonderful 20-part Christmas story
Yes.
that we listen to when we road trip over the holidays, and so we've listened to it every year. And they introduce each episode says who plays who, and it was really exciting because when we first time we ran into you, I said to my boys, I'm like, this is Rachel Dratch from Cinnamon Bear. And I was like, who do you play again, Rachel? And you were like, I have no idea. And my oldest son goes, Winnie the Stork. And
That's
he
right.
fully knew your credit.
He knew
And then
much
you walked
better.
away and he was disappointed that you didn't sound more like Winnie the Stork.
But I thought that you got home and he said like, she sounds just like her. Something like that? No.
don't know.
Okay, I ruined that. Cut that. Low.
Cut that.
Low.
I definitely
Mark-
want to cut me getting
Mark
a story
that.
wrong.
Mark that as the second low. Okay.
You know what the best thing about Tony-nominated actresses is? Though?
What?
Even the lulls shine.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe the audience saw Ghost.
Maybe.
This is weird because we're done.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, and it's hard to end on a lull.
We're done. Oh, shoot. Okay.
We'll think of something.
We'll think of one. Wait, are we really done?
Yeah, we're kind of done.
Oh, okay.
If you could see any kind
I
of
gotta
ghost, what
end
would
on
you
a
see?
high note.
Would you rather, here, would you rather see a Yeti or a mermaid?
Ooh, a Yeti.
Really? I
Yeah.
would so much rather see a mermaid.
Really?
Well, because I assume in this story I'm in a boat and the mermaid can't get me. But if you see a
Okay.
Yeti, so now you're in the woods and you see a Yeti, what are you doing?
Well, I'm picturing the Yeti from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm picturing Abominable Snowman.
Okay,
so-
but that's still a terrifying creature before he gets his dental surgery. You guys, that's Rachel Dratch, Grimsburg! Returns February 18th on Fox and her podcast, Woo Woo! With Rachel Dratch is available now. We'll be right back with more Late Night.